4180 of the Metro Code of Law and Tennessee Code Annotated 137207 of the State Code. The procedure will be first to introduce the case. I'll introduce the case along with photographs and sketches and maps and such on the wall here by means of a PowerPoint presentation. And then after I'm done talking, the applicant will come first to the table up front, along with any persons in support. Where you're sitting up there, those 4 seats, you can pick any of them. On your microphone base is a button that says push in the center. Just hit that, and you'll see a little green light comes on your base. I'm trying to show you. Kind of like that. Once that green light's on, you're ready to give your testimony and statements to the board. To your immediate right, where you'll be sitting on that ledge, is a clock that'll keep track of your time for testimony. You'll have 5 minutes to present your case in a case that doesn't have opposition to you. So if it's just appellants here, you'll have 5 minutes to present your case. If there is opposition present to your case, each side of the case, both the applicant and the opposition, gets 10 minutes apiece to speak. The applicant then again will go first, put on their case of why they need a variance or whatever they're asking for. Then the opposition will come up second, and then the applicant will have a period for rebuttal after the opposition speaks. I'm going to go through all cases set on our agenda today and read over those. Just to let you know, we do have a consent agenda, and prior to today's meeting, the chair reviews cases in the record the information you've submitted, and if he feels that testimony would not alter the material facts, he recommends the case to the remainder of the board for approval. I just got ahead of myself just a little bit. So before I read those cases off, are there any elected officials present? I didn't see any. I took a look and still seeing none. Okay, so back where I was, there is a consent agenda, and the consent agenda is like I said, the chair reviews the case and he recommends for approval to the other board members in the case. If you're here in opposition to any of these cases that I'm about to call, and I'll call them out one at a time, and ask for a show of hands if you're opposed. If you are opposed to the case, raise your hand, please, and then we'll hear the case in its regular order. So the first case recommended for today's consent agenda is case 2025-92. Ms. Melissa Swain is the appellant owner of the property at 2896 Landcrest Drive, requesting variance for the fence height provisions. Are there any parties here opposed to case 92 on Landcrest present? Mr. Chairman, let the record reflect seeing none. The next case recommended for the consent agenda is St. Mary Villa. As the appellant, the Catholic Diocese of Nashville, owners of the property at 2800 McGavick Pike, requesting a special exception for a daycare center in R15. Are there any parties present in opposition to case 98 present today? Mr. Chairman, let the record reflect seeing none. The next case recommended for consent is case 2025-99. Ms. Brooke Riebling, the appellant owner of the property at 3422 Hampton Avenue, requesting variance from the street and side setbacks requirements in RS40. Are there any parties present in opposition to case 99 on 3422 Hampton? Okay. Seeing none. The next case recommended for consent is case 2025-102, J. Pennington, appellant owner of the property located at 2129 Belmont Boulevard, requesting a variance in the side setback and height requirements for a fence. Are there any parties in opposition to case 102 present? Okay, seeing none. And finally, the last case recommended for the consent agenda is case 2025-103, Lexi and Carol Rigler, the appellant owner of the property at 1724 15th Avenue South, requesting a variance in the side setback and fence heights for a fence. Are there any parties here in opposition to case 103? Okay, Mr. Chairman, that is your consent agenda. Just recapping cases for consent to be considered: 92, 98, 99, 102, and 103.
I make a motion to approve all the consent agenda items.
Okay, so what does that mean? If you were here for cases 92, 98, 99, 102 and 103, your cases have been approved by the board. You are free to go. And that will leave 2 items for consideration for today's agenda at the BZA. And let's take the first of those now. This will be this first item listed, and I apologize, members, for not listening. This is a rehearing request from a case heard by this board. While we let the room clear. All right. This is a request for a rehearing by the applicant for Lamar Advertising. If you would, good, please just get you guys step out. This is a rehearing request. The board approved the request at 2975 Elm Hill Pike. They had requested variance from the residential district requirements to seek a construction of a digital billboard. You have a memorandum from the applicant's counsel requesting a rehearing request, and since that case was approved by this board, I will need a motion from any of the 4 members present to recommend a rehearing request should you choose to. Under your rules, the applicant is not allowed to speak to the board. Only their submittal can speak to the board today. And if you approve a rehearing today, we will set the rehearing for our next available docket. That is the first Thursday in December is our current. December the 4th will be when we hear this. Yes, sir. That's correct. Okay. December the 4th, our first meeting in December. And so that case will be reheard on that day, and that leads the only case before the board today. This will be case 2025.
Sorry about that. Yep, I forgot, sorry.
We do have our new sound system. Okay. So the case that we'll hear for our only public hearing today will be case 2025-100. Is the applicant present for case 100? Okay, miss, if you want to come forward to the table, are there any parties present in opposition to case 100? All right. And miss, let me go through your filing first for the board and explain why we denied the permit. And then I'll turn it over to you to make your case to the board. And you'll have 5 minutes once I turn it over to you.
What was that?
You'll have 5 minutes to present. The time remaining for you is just located on the counter there to your right, and it'll start once you're done introducing yourself. After I'm done with my part of the presentation, I'll turn it over to you. And there is no one here in opposition to the case. So, all right, the case today is at 810 Royal Parkway. If you're familiar with Royal Parkway, this is the stretch that is just east of Donaldson Pike. I know most folks are familiar with Royal Parkway. That is the best place to mail something in this county because that is the central hub where everything goes out in Nashville. So take your packages and letters there. But this is if you cross Donaldson Pike on the east side, on the airport side of Royal Parkway. Royal Parkway dead ends back there, and the subject property here, and I'll pull up an aerial why the applicant's in front of you to show you that. But there's currently an existing ground sign. Let me switch to. There's currently an existing ground sign, if you can see where my pointer is today. This ground sign was permitted legally. Their request is to construct a second ground sign on the east or south side of this driveway, approximately where my highlighter is showing. And in their filing, they showed the hardship being that electrical box would block alignment with compliance with the code. And then again, this is their submittal that shows their rendering of what the sign would look like. And then a photo sort of Photoshop where that sign would go in relation to the existing sign. Let's see if I have anything else. I don't have anything else there. So, Miss, if you would, please identify yourself and your name and address and present your case to the board. And while you're doing that, I'll pull up a map so to give them an idea where this is.
Can y'all hear me? Ooh, I can hear me, so you must be able to hear me. Okay, my name's Kaylee. I work at Fast Signs downtown Nashville. And I'm sorry if I'm confused. So were we emailed about the denial for this?
Your denial would have came when you submitted for a building permit.
I mean, I wouldn't have submitted for a building permit. The property manager.
Yeah, maybe the property owner did submit it
Okay.
for a sign permit.
Okay, so
Yeah.
got it.
And that's when we denied it and set this hearing.
Okay, so do I basically need to like reiterate the?
Yeah, explain kind of why your situation. I did cover what was submitted on your behalf, but maybe if you can talk in detail as to
Yeah,
why you
so
couldn't.
basically, I mean, 2 monument signs are allowed on that property. The issues being the setback, which the existing sign, I'm curious if there was a variance request for that one, because we're just trying to match the exact same setback as the existing one, which is not in compliance with what the current codes are for setback in that zone. So we want it to match the existing, and then we also want it, I think the other thing was that like it has to be like 50 feet away or 100 feet away or something from the existing sign. And whenever we were finding locations that met that requirement, it was not visible from the road. So that's what I got.
Okay, well, thanks. That makes perfect sense to me.
And members, that parcel is right here.
And this needs a front setback too, is that?
Yes, sir, that's
variance?
correct. I can, if it's helpful for you guys. I was not able to locate a variance for the prior sign, but I did find the permit for the sign there, and it was legally permitted. So I suggest that sign was probably permitted under a different code that allowed those signs to sit where it does today.
Well, what is the actual request? How far are they requesting from what is permitted? How much is the encroachment into the front setback?
Yeah, the measurement I took when I visited out there is approximately a 5-foot encroachment into the into the setback from the back of the sidewalk or that you see in this photograph. Let me see if I can get that.
I'm one of the owners of the building.
Yeah, absolutely. Come on up.
If you'll turn that microphone on, and please, sir, if you'll give us your name and address.
Daniel Sohn, and my address is 810 Royal Parkway.
All right.
So, yeah, we're looking to put another monument sign, and we'll put it anywhere on the other side. We just need another sign so that we can put our names of the additional companies that have moved in to that building. So we don't have enough space to put it in that current sign, so we're asking for a new monument. We'll put it anywhere where it's legally, but on the other side. That's all we're asking for, another monument, so we can put names for our additional tenants.
But you want it close to the entrance, obviously.
That was my customer's request.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that would make sense. You don't want it way down the road, so.
Anywhere on the other side of the, on that side where it meets the ordinances or the requirements, but we just want it on that side, close to the entrance.
Well, I mean, the way I see your site plan, you have it, can you pull that back up, Mr. Hargis? It looks to me like you want it kind of right in front of the electrical box towards the street. Or I guess, no, you want it a little bit back, okay. Yeah, thank you. Okay.
And the exact location is not, I mean, the rendering is there, but anywhere that it'll make sense to be viewed and meets the requirements is what we're asking. We just, all we want is another monument sign on the other side where it makes sense.
And it can be set back the same distance as the existing?
Absolutely, yeah.
That's the
Yeah.
request?
Yeah.
Okay.
We just
It
want
can be
another-
set back the same distance as the other sign.
Yeah, that's what,
Okay.
yeah, that's what I was
Okay.
understanding. That's their desire.
Yeah, the other sign sits about 10 feet from the back of the sidewalk that's there today. And
Okay. So there's a yardstick we can, if we grant the variance, we can require that it be as far back as the other sign, the
Yes, sir.
current sign.
yes, sir, I'll make sure our new zoning inspectors verify that locationally.
Okay, does anybody have any questions for the applicants? Okay, we'll close the public hearing and discuss. It seems like a hardship to me. I mean, they've got an electrical box there. There's no objection to it. So I would, in granting the variance, I'd want to make clear that there's not a site plan with the exact distance, but I'll make a motion to grant the variance.
Can we discuss just real quick?
Oh, sure, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely.
So, in me looking at it, it really doesn't look like a property-based hardship. This is more of a marketing thing or a convenience thing. So, especially with the signage that was shown up here before, they simply want to add another monument for marketing versus updating the signage that's already there with two companies, making it smaller and just putting more companies on that. So I'm not quite sure I actually see the hardship.
That's a good point. I thought it was for, I'd assume probably incorrectly, Mr. Cole, that it was for traffic coming in the other direction was what I kind of assumed that would, but that may be a wrongful. I mean, your point is they've got enough monumentation there now to be able to see the.
Yeah,
see
they
the
just have to
entrance.
update the signage.
So you want the existing monument sign
We've
modified?
closed a public hearing, ma'am, but
Oh, okay. I'm just confused.
if anybody has questions for the applicant, we can certainly reopen it.
I don't have questions, but if there's something unclear, maybe we should reopen
Okay, why don't we
it so we're
reopen
not-
it? And so the point that's being made is, what is the purpose of the sign? Is it so that you can put additional names of tenants there, or is it so that you have, my assumption was you needed it for essentially people coming in the opposite direction, but I think.
Yeah,
what
what
is
we're running
what is your
into is-
basis for needing it?
we're running into is we want to let people know that those two additional companies are there. Because right now there's no signage, and we wanted to put a sign on the building, but they said no to that. And I don't think we can change the current sign.
Right, I was about to say, the existing sign it's not like just as easy as putting more signage on there. You would have to kind of remodify the entire sign. And then to that point also, I think if you were fitting 4 tenants on there, it's already pretty small and not super visible. I feel like it definitely wouldn't be very visible if we tried to fit 4 tenants on one sign.
Okay, thank you. Any more questions for them? All right, we'll close the public hearing again. Mr. Cole, I get your point. I think it is, but to me, it seems like you've got a grandfather sign in. This would be kind of parallel with it, and it doesn't look like it was a sign originally built, that it could include a lot of additional information about tenants. And I think there is they're legally allowed to place the sign there. They just can't, if they could place it, but for that electrical box, they could, whether it was for marketing and for ingress, egress, they could put it there. And they do have the electrical box there. So I understand your point, but I still think I would give them a variance based on the circumstances.
So I guess the compelling thing is 2 monument signs are allowed, which I think the applicant mentioned, but can that be verified? That's in the.
Yeah,
zoning code?
that's what I was checking to see. Based on that, they are permitted 2 ground signs. Total area of signage is 384 square feet. What's changed from the time that this development was constructed till now, the zoning itself has changed from what used to be office zoning to commercial zoning. So the office zoning was a lot more restrictive on sign area square footage permitted under that OP zoning that you see right there highlighted.
Oh, and the first one was constructed? they were not allowed that much?
Yeah,
Signage?
back when that original sign was, it was
okay.
quite restrictive on the amount of sign area. The sign code, I don't even have OP in that because that's from 1974, but it was very small.
So it's not like they could have planned for a bigger sign, they just weren't allowed?
They weren't allowed,
I see.
yeah.
Okay.
This is our current, just to give you some idea in our current code, that same size lot with street frontage would be restricted in an office zone to 96 square feet versus 388 or 384. So it's almost a quarter of what's allowed. And that probably would have been true in the early 1970s, back when that sign was erected under that code.
I'm in agreement with Chairman Pepper. I think due to the circumstances with a limited area to make signage, I think, of course, any business, it is marketing, but however, every entity, enterprise has right to place sign for the business purposes. And I think that's why we regulate size and location. And so, like a sign everywhere and kind of spread out. But in this case, like old sign, original sign is sort of grandfathered in and limited in the size. So having another sign is kind of warranted, and it will meet our variance requirement. If we do strictly interpret, they will lose the opportunity to place the signature which needed for the business. So for that reason, I think I'm comfortable granting the variance.
I just, I do want to say they're not losing the opportunity. They could just modify the existing sign.
You saying they can do what now?
They can leave the brick monument in place and modify the signage on the brick monument. So I don't necessarily see them as losing the opportunity to market the other businesses within the property. You make that black placard on the monument, some other sign, or you reduce the size of the logos on that black placard.
Yeah, but, I'm sorry. So you are requesting existing sign to be smaller,
No, I'm saying.
exact
I'm
size,
saying
but,
if they want to put additional logos and marketing there, they can either make the logos there smaller and add more logos, or make the black placard larger and add more logos. They don't necessarily need another monument.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. I still go back to, if not for that electrical box, they could put another sign there, is the way I understand it, and that's not a self-imposed hardship. I mean, the electrical box is where the electrical box is, but I get your point, but I still think they are
You see,
losing an
the box
opportunity.
is a hardship.
What's that?
They have a hardship. You're saying it's the.
I think it's the
electrical
box is a hardship, and I do think they're losing an opportunity. I think the opportunity they're losing is, because of that electrical box, where they can put the sign on that other side just doesn't work, so. Well, I'll make a motion that we approve it, with the condition that, if it's approved, that it be set back, the same distance as the, current sign, which I think we've all agreed they can do. The current sign being the monument side on the other side of the entrance, that it have that same, it'd be equidistance in terms of the setback from the street. The hardship being that electrical box, it's that big electrical box.
Before we vote, can I just ask a question?
Sure.
Is there anyone that reviews this to make sure, like, we're not creating a blind spot when you're looking back towards, like, is there anyone else that's gonna review this for visibility before we?
Yes, sir. NDOT will be tracked on the
Okay.
permit, yes, sir.
That was my only question. I don't wanna put a sign somewhere and then you can't see.
Sure, yeah. No, that was my understanding. NDOT reviews everything, I think, after we approve it. It's-
I'll second your motion, but I wanted to say I agree with Mr. Cole on everything, but the only reason why I'm gonna, well, yeah, I am voting in favor because I second it, but the only reason that's compelling is they're allowed to have two signs, and that's the only reason why I'm gonna vote in favor of it. So I seconded your motion. That was a long second.
Okay, and so any further discussion? All right, there's a motion, a second, all in favor, all opposed. Was that in favor, Mr. Cole?
It was in
Okay,
favor.
all right. So that passes 4-0.
Okay, so just make sure for purposes of creating an order, we'll put a condition on there that the sign is to be set back equidistant as the existing ground sign.
Correct.
And then as far as placement, left or right, we don't care, I mean, it's fine, wherever they want to choose it. So from this point of view, from my left to my right, toward the drive or away from the drive, that's fine?
Correct, yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
all
yeah.
right, good. Okay, thank you. Well, with that, the board will be adjourned today. That is our final case. Thanks.
If you get approval, somebody put a marker, did I hear somebody say that they'll put a marker where we can build it, or we just measure it ourselves? Yeah. All right, thank you.
This has been a service of the Metro Nashville Network. If you would like to see this presentation again, or for more information on this and other programs, visit nashville.gov.
I didn't see that. So, I guess wherever they place it, they gotta make sure it doesn't. They gotta thread the needle.